Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm a Butterflies team leader, and today's story is the 10 Commandments. After 3 months of wandering through the hot rocky desert, the Israelites arrived at the foot of the holy mountain of Sinai. Moses announced they would stay there for a while and told them they should be ready with prayers and rituals, for in 3 days' time God was going to speak to them. On the morning of the third day, black storm clouds gathered around the peak of the mountain, hiding it from view. Thunder rumbled, lightning split the skies, then the earth shook, and mountains began to spew out flames and smoke as if there was an enormous furnace. Can you hear the sound of thunder? It sounded like a giant trumpet blared out through the air, calling the terrified Israelites to assemble at the foot of the mountain. Moses slowly climbed up and up towards the smoking, fiery mountain top and disappeared from view into the clouds. Many Israelites thought it was the voice of God talking to their leader. When the noise had at last died away, Moses came back down the mountain and announced that God had given him 10 important rules of behavior. Okay? And he said, number 1, you should not worship any other God but me. Number 2, you should not make statue or picture to worship. Number 3, you should only use my name respectfully. Number 4, you should keep the 7th day or Sabbath of every week as a holy day of rest. Number 5, you should always be respectful to your parents and should never commit murder. You should never be unfaithful to your partner. You should never steal. You should not lie. And you should not envy the things other people may have. Moses wrote 10 commandments down and a lot less rules too. The very next day he built an altar at the foot of the mountain and asked the Israelites to vow and obey the rules. Moses made a sacrifice to seal the solemn promise. Yet God still had more that he wanted the Israelites to learn. So he summoned Moses up the mountain once more, where they could talk on their own together. The Israelites watched as their leader climbed up the mountain one more time and disappeared alone into the dark clouds. The Israelites watched and waited for Moses to return. They watched and waited for 7 long weeks, but there was no sign of the leader. Worried and confused, they came to the conclusion that God had abandoned them and Moses would never return. Make something for us to worship, they begged. Aaron said, we need something we can see and touch. Thousands of men and women brought Aaron their gold jewelry. He melted it down and made an enormous gold statue of a calf, one of the animals that was sometimes sacrificed to God. See, can you see over there, made of gold? To please the people and keep them under control, Aaron even built the calf and an enormous altar and declared there would be festivals in its honor. And I had a massive party. Woo! The people were delighted. At last they had a straightforward God, one that wasn't invisible and didn't speak to them in thunder, giving them complicated lists of things they should and shouldn't do. Immediately the Israelites began praying to the calf and offering it sacrifices and singing and dancing around it. That doesn't sound good, does it? What was the first one of the rules? You should not make statue or a picture to worship. And what have they done? Made that. As they did so, Moses came back down the mountainside at last. He held 2 stone tablets on which God himself had written out the most important commandments, so no one could forget them or get them wrong. Moses knew already about the Israelites was worshipping golden calf because God had told him while they were up the mountain. God had been full of fury, and so was Moses, enraged at the sight that met his eyes as he approached the camp. He flung the stone tablets to the ground and they shattered to pieces. Then he hurled the golden calf into flames of one of the sacrificial fires. Aaron, what did everyone do to you that allowed this to happen? At his brother, then he called for anyone who was on God's side to go and stand next to him. Only the men of the tribe of Levi took up the place. next to Moses. See, he smashed all the tablets up. On God's orders, he told each of them to grab a sword and put to death everyone who stood their way as punishment for their sins. Over 3,000 Israelites were killed that night. The next day, Moses went back up the mountain to pray for God for forgiveness for the wickedness of his chosen people. Hope you all enjoyed today's story. Thank you for watching. Bye!